Today is Tuesday, May 8th, about 9:30, and Nancy and I are leaving Dalton, Massachusetts. We have to walk through town about a mile, and then we'll get off into the woods, and we're going to be ending today at Cheshire. The Appalachia Trail goes right through Dalton. The people are very friendly, lots of good eating places that aren't expensive. So we're off. We've finished walking through Dalton. We went up High Street to Gulf Road. This is the Appalachia Trail Message Center, and then we're going to take off through the woods. It's still raining, but it's not raining very much, just kind of a sprinkle. It should rain all day, so we've got our rain gear on and ready to go. It's almost noon, and we've made it to the Crystal Hill campsite. We were hoping for a shelter, but we are taking shelter from the rain and eating our lunch in the privy. It's cozy, but 2 people can fit in there. And they have several campsites, and fires are allowed. I forgot to mention that in Dalton there's the Crane paper mill, which you can visit, and it's where the paper is made that all of our currency is printed on. We had some steep up and downs, but they were very short. We went over some bog bridges, but New England's actually in a drought, so there wasn't much of a bog. We've gone up some stone steps and some wooden steps. And we're going to eat our lunch, and then we'll continue on. We're at Gore Pond. It's still raining, but you can see 2 of the dams that the beavers have put up on the pond. And there is a little outlet creek with another little dam, and we have to walk across it, so that should be fun. When the wind blows, all the trees let loose their water, so we're getting really soaked. But it's not that cold, so we're having a good time. It's still raining. The trail's been a lot easier. The only problem was that a lot of the trails have become little streams in their own right, so we've been straddling them, and sometimes we have to give up and just walk on through. We've crossed several creeks, and we've gone across waterfalls and below waterfalls. At the Gore Pond, Nancy chose to go over the rocks, and the rocks were maybe 2 inches below the surface, but if you slipped off the rocks, it was about 2 feet to the bottom. So I chose to go across the beaver dam, and it was an old beaver dam. It's pretty rotted, but we both made it across. This is the Harbor House in Cheshire, Massachusetts, where Nancy and I spent the night. The plan was to slack pack Mount Greylock, and Eva was going to take us up to the top of the mountain, and we were planning on walking back down, spending another night, and then driven back up to the top and go down the other side the next day into Williamstown. However, 2 things happened. First of all, it's been raining, and it was very foggy this morning, so going up there was a little iffy. Then we found out the road to Greylock wasn't going to open this year until Memorial Day, so that changed that plan. So what's happening is that we spent the day here in Cheshire and Pittsfield and North Adams, and we're just kind of walking around, and tomorrow we will take a taxi into Williamstown and then continue on. We thought about walking to the top of Greylock, going up it, and then camping. The trouble is it's storming on the top. There are no shelters, so we'd have to walk all the way up the mountain and 3 miles down the other side before there'd be a place to camp. So we vetoed that. We are just spending the day here. This is Friday, May 11th. The sun is out. We're going to take the Pine Cobble Trail up to the cobbles and then hopefully connect with the Appalachia Trail and continue north to Seth Warner Shelter. That should be it. We're almost to the top of Pine Cobble. It's been quite a climb, as you can tell by my breathing. We're not quite there yet. We've made it up to the top of the cobbles. We're going to sit on some of these nice rocks and have lunch. There is a nice view of the surrounding hills. And way down there, it's either Williamstown or North Adams, but I can't tell. But this is a nice little spot. There's a little breeze, but we're kind of sort of protected. We've stopped at the cobbles, which is an outcropping of rock. You're supposed to think a little cobblestones, but these are big cobblestones. And there's Nancy standing, and my phone's been ringing, so someone must want me. So there we are. Here we are at the Appalachia Trail. If we turn right, we'll head south. We're going to turn left and go to the Seth Warner Shelter. We've just climbed up this pile of rocks on our way from the Pine Cobble Trail to the Appalachia Trail. We have reached the Massachusetts-Vermont border. From here, for the next 105 miles, the Long Trail and the Appalachia Trail will be one and the same. Then the Appalachia Trail will continue on to Maine, and the Long Trail will break off and head into Canada. Here are some pretty white trilliums. Not too many flowers are blooming, but they're just starting to come out now in spring. I stopped to take a picture of this flower. Somebody wrote in one of the log books that they thought it was a tiger lily. So then after getting down here to take a picture of the tiger lily, we spied, I don't know if you can see it, moose droppings. So we're doubly excited. We get moose droppings and the flower at the same time. This is the Seth Warner Shelter. It's where Nancy and I spent last night. We shared the shelter with Bullet Bob, who started the AT in Georgia in January, and with a section hiker named Jerry. It was a little walk down to the stream to get water and about an equal walk to the privy. They had a bear box, but it was locked because they said people were leaving garbage in it instead of storing their food overnight. But they haven't had any bear problems in this area for a couple of years. I didn't hear any mice running around, didn't hear any bears. So it was a good night's sleep. It got a little chilly. And we're going to go 7.2 miles today to Cogden Shelter to spend the night. There's a big bumblebee somewhere down there. Don't know if you can see him. We've come to a pond that used to have a lot of beavers in it. They're all gone. You can see how low the water is because basically New England is still in a drought. Drought or no drought, we can't go 1/10 of a mile before we have to slosh through mud. This is the mud season for Vermont. The mud is black and it's made up of decomposing leaves from all the trees. This is the outlet to Roaring Branch Pond. We gotta go across there. If we slip, we get to go down here. Don't know if you can tell on the video, but it's really cool. It's a toadstool and it looks like there's a gnome sitting on top of it with his feet out in front, relaxing. Then up above is a great big kind of fan-like mushroom or fungi. I guess it's a fungi. These might be the oyster fungi or whatever, something like that. We opt not to go across the pond on this bridge. Part of it was about 6 inches underwater, especially on the far side. So we bushwhacked around the pond.
Can you go over that way, Nellie?
This is the Cogden Shelter. It was built in 1967.
Here we go.
It was named after Herbert Cogden, who was a longtime trustee and a member of the Green Mountain Club. We spent the night with Nellie and Chance, and Jerry joined us. He was in the shelter last night with us. So we're on today to Bennington. We got about 4.5 miles or so to go. We are at a pond. We don't really know which pond it is, but this is the beaver dam right here, and the water is overflowing the beaver dam, and then we are walking on these bog bridges along to the other side. So we're hoping the beaver did a really good job and it's not going to all of a sudden come apart and wash us away. We've made it to the top of Harmon Hill. It's at 2,325 feet. It's 1,563 miles to Springer Mountain in Georgia, the start of the Appalachia Trail, but a mere 557 miles to go to Katahdin in Maine. This is the view from Harmon Hill. Down below us is Bennington, Vermont. And then it goes on over. We're going to end our day down in Bennington, so we don't have very far to go. We're coming down Harmon Hill. These are some what they call rock steps that go down. We're going to go down and then turn and continue down the hill. There's Nancy. She's almost at the road. It's been 6/10 of a mile, basically stepping from rock to rock. Thank goodness for poles. Our knees are about spent, but we only got a little ways to go. We've made it down Harmon Hill. Come all the way down. You can't even see half of the steps. Of course, as we're struggling down slowly, inch by inch, some young guy comes bounding up there, jogging to the top. I'm out at Ship Brown's Boat Basin, looking across at my old stomping grounds, Bear Island. We had a cottage here. You'd come to Ship Brown's, you'd get the water taxi, fill up with gas if you had your boat with you. Now it's really grown, but it used to be quite a small place. Brings back a lot of good memories.
Well, Mom used to come up with so I'm pretty sure the mail.
I'm at Ames Farm and I'm looking over at Diamond Island where I spent many wonderful summers. And up there is Cousin Lee and Gordon's little cottage. And it looks like there's some boats tied up, so maybe somebody's there. I don't know if they've sold it or not. Lindsay and I used to swim with our noodles and go around the island every morning.
Clear around?
All the way around.
All the way around.
Took us an hour or an hour and a half. And the island over here is Rattlesnake Island. And there's a trail that will take you up to the top. We're in Alton Bay, which is at one end of Lake Winnipesaukee. It's still too early for most people to be here, but in another 2 weeks, this place will be full of people and lots of boats.